Hey guys, and welcome to my Solo Warbands guide, or just a general Warbands guide if you're interested in doing this dangerous D&D. So when you're ready, grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Warbands is a wilderness D&D that spawns every 7 hours and does not have any requirements. In fact, the lower level you are, the easier it will be, so skillers, you're in luck. Now, as for high level players, I do recommend you have level 98 archaeology if you want to do Warbands solo safer. But it is definitely not required. The same can be said for a BOB familiar, it's just going to make your life easier when doing Warbands. It is not required. As for useful things, we have the Wilderness Sword 4. Now this is incredibly useful if you want to teleport to any warband camp in any world very quickly once it is started. Now to obtain this Wilderness Sword, you need to do all wilderness tasks, including the elite tasks, which I do have a guide for, which I'll leave in the description below. Next up is something new added with the archaeology update, being the persistent rage relic power. Now this requires level 98 archaeology, so it's a steep requirement, but if you're doing solo warbands and you're playing defensively, this will save your life and will save your supplies. You'll be using this relic to activate ultimate defensive abilities to get you to the wilderness ditch safely. The Ancestor Spirit's aura is only useful for extra DPS in the wilderness if you're fighting back, so ignore it if you're doing this defensively. It's one of the very few auras that actually works inside the wilderness. The next two items are incredibly useful to bring along if you want to survive during warbands. The Phoenix Necklace is a consumable neck slot item that heals you for 30% of your maximum life points if your health drops below 20%, meaning this can save you from dying. The different tiers of Portent of Restorations which you can put in your inventory work very similarly, except it's below 50% with a Portent of Restoration 10, and you'll need to have level 93 Constitution to use it. Also, they're pretty expensive. A Ring of Recall can be used to reflect some of the damage done to you by an attacking player. A numbing root can be used to clear the bleed you have on you. For example, if a PK is using melee, they will be using slaughter on you. This can be used as an emergency item, but I wouldn't recommend using it because it's a waste of inventory space in my opinion. Another niche but useful item nonetheless is the Goragian Mushroom, which heals you 10% of your maximum health and then reduces all PvP damage by 15% for 10 seconds. Fury Sharks are another niche item that when eaten heal you for a lot of your life points, but also give you the effect of the Protect item prayer. This can stack up to 5 items in the wilderness, by the way. If you are using augmented equipment for whatever reason, you can use the Mobile Invention perk to decrease the amount of time it takes for your mobility abilities to get off cooldown. And any and all stun abilities, spells and so on can be useful to stun your opponent that is attacking you for you to get away. Though, I wouldn't really bother. Okay, so as for the setup, this can differ for any player. Basically, if you don't want to lose anything, just go naked and bring 3 pieces of food and a beast of burden filled with extra food. Though, that way you might get killed and you won't be able to do anything about it. If you have some gear, maybe you might frighten off some of the newbie PKers. Basically what you want is at least a Phoenix Necklace and a Ring of Recall and that food and maybe a Portent of Restoration in your inventory as well. You're going to want a weapon and extra food in your inventory or Beast of Burden if you're going to be doing the killing part of Warbands, being the minions and the boss before you can start looting the camps. After that, just drop the excess food or put it in your BOB familiar because you want to loot the full 25 supplies, which means you can't have any extra food in your inventory if you want the max experience every day. This will all start to make sense as soon as I start explaining Warbands itself. Okay, so if you want to know when Warbands start, simply use one of the timer apps you can download on your phone or use the Runescape wiki telling you when they spawn. It will also show you a countdown timer to the next Warband wave. Once the timer hits 0, you want to be ready to go because it will spawn in one of 3 locations. These locations are Dark Warrior's Fortress nearby the Edgeville Lodestone, being DWF for short, east of Lava Maze near the Wilderness Herb Patch, or south of Red Dragon Isle, being RDI for short. Now the easiest location by far is Dark Warrior's Fortress to loot your 75 supplies every day. Because it's so close to the wilderness ditch, you'll have an easier time avoiding PKers. East of Lava Maze isn't a bad idea either, but you'll have to run far further from those PKers if they do end up attacking you, increasing the chances of you dying. But the funny thing is, you can teleport there by using the Her Patch teleport with a Wilderness Sword 1, so you don't even need Wilderness Sword 4 to get there quickly. Now, south of Red Dragon Isle is something I just wouldn't do. I just would stick to Dark Warriors Fortress and East of Lava Maze because that camp is just too far away. By the way, if you want to get to East of Lava Maze in another way, you can also make yourself a canoe nearby the Grand Exchange and use it to get to the wilderness as well. But this is really an old way of getting there. You might as well just get Wilderness Sword 1 instead. Okay, let's go over a full Warbands run. So, if you are using the Persistent Rage Relic and a shield, you want to get yourself 100% adrenaline before the waves start. If you're wondering, you can set a sort of notification for your chat box 5 minutes before any of your favorite D&D start, including Warbands. So if that's something you want to set up, that is a possibility by going into your game settings and favoriting the Wilderness Warbands D&D in the minigames list. Once Warband starts, there will be a world broadcast message with the location of the camp in your world. In this case, it's Dark Warriors Fortress, but if it is at, let's say, Red Dragon Isle, what you want to do is go to the same location for Dark Warriors Fortress and simply hop worlds away from the camp until you find a world with a camp in Dark Warriors Fortress. You want to then click on the beam in the exact same location I am standing in or in the other clip you'll be seeing in the video. Otherwise, you might interrupt it and you won't be able to summon reinforcements to help you with the D&D. After you interrupt the magic beam, you're going to be summoning reinforcements in the same way by clicking on the beam. Do not move from your position or else it will break off and you won't be able to summon them. You then want to kill the minions and finally finish off the boss from the Warband camp. After that, you'll have to wait a few seconds and you'll be able to loot the camps. You can get supplies for various different skills and it depends on the spawns, but it's always 3 different skills. You can get farming, construction, herblore mining, and smithing supplies up to 360,000 experience per day at level 99 if you loot 75 supplies. You can only loot 25 of one camp and then you'll have to hop worlds and find another to loot another 25, then hop back and loot another 25. But keep in mind there's a limit of 1,000 and once those 1,000 supplies are looted from all the players combined in the area, the camp will be dead and will be removed and you'll have to check a different world. Now with the supplies in your inventory, you will not be able to teleport, you will have to walk to the wilderness ditch manually. It is definitely not a rare occurrence to be attacked while looting or after looting when running to the wilderness ditch by random PKers. Even just little scumbags that try and kill you for absolutely no reason with crappy gear end up attacking you. Which is why I recommend you bring along a weapon so they're less likely to attack you or you're able to stun them and then run away or counterattack, whatever. It's a thing. Keep it in mind. It will happen to you. You will get attacked. And if it's a good PK, there's a good chance of you dying as well, unless you use the shield trick. Now, once you've looted your 25 supplies from a camp, you want to go ahead and run towards the wilderness ditch as seen and go to this NPC called Quercus. You can then hand in your supplies for either money, which I wouldn't recommend you do, or a bunch of experience depending on your level. Then once you're done, you're going to hop to a wall to find another camp, or if you're in a clan or friend chat, they will have called out the worlds with Dark Warriors Fortress camps for you to hop to, which makes it much easier. Also, usually in friend chats, you will have protection from other proper PKers, but the problem is I cannot tell you which friend chat I have used back in the day for warbands because they are a closed off friend chat, and if I were to expose the name, they would have other PKers come in there to PK the people doing warbands. So I'm sorry. Also, randomly when looting, you can get a 1 of treachery, which means you will glow towards all the other players and your prayer points will be drained to 0. It's a weapon that is worth nothing nowadays, and if it happens, it just really sucks if you end up getting attacked because you won't have any prayer. If you end up getting attacked and you're using the Persistent Rage Relic and a shield, do not attack the player attacking you. Use your barricade ability and you'll be safe from damage for 10 seconds. If the PKer stuns you, which if he is any good at all he will usually do, you want to use Freedom. In the case that it doesn't, you want to use Anticipation beforehand to be free of stuns for a certain amount of time. Now, you won't do this perfectly and neither will I. If you panic when you get attacked, simply just try and use Barricade to your advantage. You'll be safe for 10 seconds, which will give you more time. Use your mobility abilities like Surge to surge towards the ditch. Then use Resonance or other defensive abilities to not get stunned and reduce the damage you take while eating up as much as you can to keep your health high. And you do not need a shield to avoid PKs. Really, it's not that hard. You just need to have enough food in your BOB familiar or in your inventory to eat up run away, do not get stunned, and 99% of the time you will avoid PKers if you try and stay focused. You don't even need armor to survive a PKer, but you need to stay focused, eat up high, keep biting your food does help, and 99% of the time you will avoid PKers unless, because it is multi-combat in a little area there, a full PKing clan logs in with red or pink capes, then you might be screwed, but you still have a chance to run away, and really, missing out on 25 supplies will only be around 120,000 experience at level 99, so if you do it the next day and you do get 75 out of 75 supplies, you really won't miss out on too much. Now, I wanted to create this video because I saw so many discouraged people in my comments section before about warbands on skilling guides and so on, because it is a pretty annoying thing to do, especially if you get PK constantly, but please, if you give it a couple tries, it will be doable and you'll get better at avoiding PKers as you go along. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this guide and found it helpful, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.